I have 0 friends. This is in no way to fish for sympathy, it's just a fact. I am 35 years old and I have a family, and it's kind of expected at this age to have your friends' numbers dwindle. Coming out of high school, I had 4 good friends, and we stayed good friends for a good while until they started dropping off one by one. If anyone cares to hear the tale of how I lost each one, stay tuned. So the first friend that I stopped being friends with, it was pretty random. He just texted me out of the blue and our other friends in the friend group saying that he felt like we weren't really his friend, and I think it's because we were kind of getting busier with either our careers, relationships, or families, and he kind of was stuck in that same place where he wasn't really working, he didn't have a relationship with anyone, and he didn't have a family, obviously. I mean, besides his parents and his brother. But yeah, he said that, he felt like we weren't really his friends, maybe because we weren't giving him the time, or we didn't spend enough time with him. I don't know what it was, but he was very vague, and he didn't care to answer any questions. He just texted us all individually saying, hey, yeah, we're not gonna be friends anymore, just so you know. I don't feel like you're a real friend, and yeah, good luck to you. I appreciate being upfront, but there were definitely lingering questions. We never got those answers. I was about, I want to say, 26, 27. I already had my first child, daughter. And yeah, I was obviously preoccupied. I mean, scrambling to find a way to provide, and obviously spending my time with my daughter and my future wife. So, I mean, things happen, priorities shift, and you can't just always heavily prioritize your friends, especially as you get older. Another good friend of mine was his brother, so that kind of also dissipated when he broke off our friendship. So yeah, so I guess I had 5 friends coming out of high school. So then we were down to 3. I'm still friends with one of them, I will say that. We don't really talk much, just because we're adults and busy with our lives and building our lives. So yeah, I won't count him in this equation. So 2 friends that I lost after the first 2 that I lost. So the next friend I lost, it was not so blatantly upfront like how my other friend said, hey, we're not friends anymore. We just slowly stopped talking, drifted apart. Like I said, I had my kid, my daughter, and then I had another child, had a son. And up to that point, I was still seeing him pretty frequently and hanging out, but up to this point, I hadn't lived with my future wife and my child. We weren't, it was hard for us to live together at that point. But we finally did get to live together, and we had, our 2 children. We were living all of us together. And yeah, that's when I started getting a little busier, obviously. I mean, putting all my time and effort into my future family instead of my friends. And I could see how that might sting for someone who's not building a family and they just have like their career and their friends. But I feel, sometimes we're lucky and we get to keep our friends for like life, but sometimes we don't, and that's fine. It's all personal choice. And for me, I decided from a young age, or at least when I started having, building my family, that they're going to be my priority over anything and everything. And that includes friendships. If I had to lose friendships or drastically dwindle down the time and effort I put into them, then so be it. I want that effort to be put into my family. So moving on, he ended up buying a house that's, I want to say, California, where we track distances by time, not by miles. So he lived about 1 hour, an hour and a half away from where I live, driving wise, and that's kind of far. As a rule of thumb, I like to spend 3 times as long as it takes me to get somewhere to make it worth it. And yeah, I was going to spend 5 hours at my friend's house when I have little children and my soon-to-be wife waiting at home while I'm just out doing God knows what. So I was very happy for him. I went out to his new house a couple times, and after that, just kind of started disappearing. I mean, it was just harder to get to see him. It's harder to plan things, and he just kind of became very isolated and worked from home, didn't have much friends out there, so he just kind of became a little awkward socially. And I mean, we had less in common, and just felt very forced at a certain point. So yeah, we stopped talking, and the last thing I sent him was like, I think a happy birthday text a couple years ago, and from there we didn't talk anymore. And yeah, he was probably my longest friend, one of my best friends, and just disappeared. It happens. And my last friend that I stopped being friends with, so that's 3 friends down. I still had 2, kept the one still, but he's more of an acquaintance, I would say now, more than a friend. But the other friend that I did definitely end ties with was a friend that I used to work with. We were good friends in high school, good friends after high school, and like I said, he was building a family as well, so we had a lot more in common. We were working together, and I was helping him with, it was a family-owned business, and my specialty is to analyze businesses and finances and help the businesses grow. I went to school for it, I have experience in it, so I was there to help him out, and yeah, so it was really fun, it was a good time. It got to a point where I can make all the recommendations in the world, but if people don't take them, then there will be consequences for poor decisions, and that's exactly what happened with this business. Eventually they got to very dire straits, and I guess I had to essentially jump ship, but at the same time it also helped them, so it was kind of like a win-win. I got to expand my horizons, and they got to save money from paying me. And ever since then, since I left there, it's been kind of a crazy job market, and it's been, hard to have some job security. I'm sure everyone can relate to that. So from time to time, when I was struggling or between jobs, I would go back and kind of do consultant work and help them out with what I used to help them out with. Until very recently, I was really struggling to find work until I got this awesome job. And I reached out to him and, needed help. I'll help you guys out with some consult work and you guys pay me, and, until I find my next gig. And when I reached out, nothing, no response. And, I was a little desperate, so I reached out again, like a month later, after no response. And again, nothing. So, okay, and in that text I kind of said, this will be the last time I reach out, so sorry to bug you. I'm just a little desperate and trying to make some money before, until I find something next. I have a family to provide for. I'm a sole provider, so my wife stays at home, and I'm the only one that works, so I need to make a certain amount of money to make sure I provide for us all. And yeah, he never responded. Fortunately, I found a job not too long after that, and he later on responded when I was already working in my new position, and said, "Oh yeah, sorry man, I had a lot going on." He always has an excuse, like I had a lot going on, and wasn't feeling like myself. And I told him, that's fine, but you can at least respond and say, I can't help you. To not respond at all is kind of a little, I thought we were closer than that for you to not even respond. So I told him, exactly like I said, I thought we were closer than that. You should have responded, at least told me, hey, sorry, but I can't help you. And after that, he never responded. So after that, I decided to cut ties. I kind of saw, true colors, and I've always been there for him. He struggled a lot, and I've always been there every time he went through a hardship. But I was going through a hardship, so I needed his help, and it wasn't reciprocated. So I kind of saw how selfish he could be, and I'm not going to put in time and effort into a relationship that is not going to, where I'm not going to be treated the same that I'm treating them. And at the same time, for me to give someone time and effort is a huge thing, because I put all my time and effort into my family. So for me to kind of go beyond that and give you some time and effort is a big thing. So yeah, that's when I ended that. I'm the one that ended that relationship, that friendship. So I was left with the one friend that I've had for a very long time, and we stopped hanging out a long time ago. I want to say 5 years ago, and I haven't really seen him since, but we text here and there. But and here I am now with I want to say 0 friends, but at least I have my family, and my kids love me, and my wife loves me, and I have a very good life. So it's about the decisions we make. Who's going to be there at the end of the day? Who's going to be there for the rest of your life? And those are the people you want to put your effort into. Relationships, friendships, we have them to learn something from them, I feel, and I gained something from each one of those friendships. I have very happy memories, but they're just memories now, and they're over, and it's time to look forward and and be thankful for the relationships you do have, and continue to show those people you appreciate them. So yeah, if you guys watched all this, you're a trooper. Thanks, appreciate it. And if you guys lost friends, and how did that happen? Go ahead and discuss.